You have 1 hour until polls open. Today is Election Day, and our 9 News Morning team has all the information you need to cast your votes.
They hadn't even started trick-or-treating yet.
Aurora is mourning the loss of a 15-year-old boy hit and killed by a car on Halloween night.
And to see something like that unfold in front of you, it felt surreal.
This morning, we hear from a woman who stopped and tried to save his life.
There's a big change to the Broncos roster.
I have so much love for you guys, so much love for the city, so much love for my teammates.
The Broncos traded Von Miller to the Los Angeles Rams, 2 draft picks for the greatest pass rusher the team has ever seen. 9 News Mornings starts right now.
We start with breaking news this morning. Big traffic alert for you. Denver police investigating a crash at northbound Santa Fe Drive and West Ellsworth Avenue. Right now, northbound Santa Fe at Ellsworth is shut down. We don't know too much this morning. The information we have is from Denver Police's Twitter. They're saying the crash involved a motorist and a semi-truck, and the driver of the car involved has been taken to the hospital with serious injuries. We'll, of course, update you as we learn more.
And new this morning, civil rights leader and 2-time presidential candidate Reverend Jesse Jackson was hospitalized Monday night after falling at Howard University. His daughter tweeted that he is resting and doing well. He was kept at the hospital as a precaution.
New out of Glasgow this morning, the Biden administration announced plans to introduce some of the nation's strongest regulations against methane emissions from oil and gas drilling. The regulations target methane leaks in instances when methane gas is purposely vented during production process. White House officials are at the United Nations Climate Change Conference today.
And today, of course, is Election Day. You have about an hour until in-person voting begins if you're not using the drop boxes. As of Sunday night, just more than 755,000 ballots had been returned in Colorado for today's election. That accounts for less than 20% of active voters in the state. That's according to the Secretary of State's office. John Glasgow brings us live reports on what you need to know about the election coming up in just a couple of minutes.
And today we're expecting closing arguments in the trial against Steve Pankey, the man accused of kidnapping and murdering 12-year-old Janelle Matthews back in 1984. Pankey maintains he is innocent, his lawyers calling him a, quote, true crime junkie. As prosecuting attorneys say, his obsession with the case is evidence of his guilt. Today's hearing begins at 8:30.
Today, you'll see some changes to DIA security checkpoints. TSA PreCheck is moving to the North Security checkpoint. By November 10th, North Security will be the only checkpoint with pre-check lines. The airport is also creating a travel light lane for those with only one item, also at North Security. I love that idea. And the Pikes Peak shuttle lot is reopening for people to park on Fridays and Saturdays. Shuttles will run return trips any day of the week.
He frightened quarterbacks on the other side of the line for a decade. This morning, Von Miller is gone. It is the end of the Von era for the Denver Broncos. The team traded one of the best defensive players in franchise history, probably the best, to the Los Angeles Rams. The Rams get Von. He gets another chance to win a Super Bowl now before the end of his career, because I don't think the Broncos are going anywhere this year. And the Broncos get a 2nd and 3rd round draft pick. But the Broncos will pay $9 million left on his contract. We've been getting a lot of emotional comments since the news broke. You can text your reaction to 303-871-1491. We will share some of your comments coming up at about 6:15 this morning. Good morning, everyone, and thanks for joining us. Erica Lopez tracking down your morning commute today, but we had Ed Green with a forecast, a cold forecast for today anyway.
Yeah, it kind of started with, Halloween, and it's continued yesterday. It's going to continue again today, but then things get a lot better around here. Let's go outside and take a look, and you can see we do have pretty nice conditions, except that it's dry. However, we do have those cloudy skies, and with that temperature standing at 33 degrees, 89% humidity. You can see that moisture flow continuing across the state. Snow on the high country. That continues this afternoon. A couple of showers and of rain and snow depending on your elevation, and that's in the forecast with a high of 43 degrees. Then for tonight, or tomorrow rather, we'll look for partly cloudy skies, early showers, but late sunshine and 55 degrees. Thursday, mostly sunny, warmer, 63. And take a look at this. Friday, mostly sunny and 67. Here comes your weekend, Saturday and Sunday, partly sunny skies nearing 70 degrees.
Ed, thank you so much. Right now, a live look for you at 225 and Mississippi Avenue this morning. Northbound lanes traveling away from us. Looks like our CDOT camera may have froze there, but volume still running pretty smoothly through that area. We do have a new report of a rollover crash right now on the ramp from Union Avenue to eastbound 6th Avenue. We've got another wreck on southbound I-25, a little bit south of Berthoud, right around Highway 56. That's at the Love's travel stop at that exit, if you're familiar there. We also have road work still happening, closing westbound Highway 6 through Clear Creek Canyon between Highway 58 and Highway 40. That's going to reopen at 8 o'clock this morning. So I-70 going to be your best bet for a workaround this morning until things reopen.
The clock is ticking. Only a handful of hours to vote in today's election. 9 News reporter John Glasgow is live in Denver this morning. John, there are a lot of ways people can still cast their votes in time.
That's right. You got 12 hours to cast your vote. The polls close at 7 o'clock tonight, and they're getting ready to process some of those votes here this morning once the polls open at 7 o'clock this morning. It's too late to get those mail in your ballot, I should say. But if you did get a ballot in the mail, you can fill that out. You can drop it off at a drop box, or you can bring it to an in-person voting location where they will also make sure that it's counted as well. The one here in Denver is at the Wellington Webb Building, which we're going to head to at 7 o'clock here this morning. So a few things to remember, some reminders for you here on Election Day is that you can check to see if you're registered on the Secretary of State's website. Results, they're going to be posted there as well. Now, if you applied for a driver's license or renewed your driver's license since May of last year, you're likely already registered to vote. So 88 towns and communities across Colorado, they're going to hold votes on municipal and school board races. More than 125 municipal ballot questions are being considered across the state. Those issues include housing, taxes, marijuana, and election changes as well. So far in Denver, 14% of eligible voters have cast their ballot. That's about 66,000 people. Now, to compare, that's in 2019, a little over 38% of eligible voters cast their votes here in Denver.
It's really important that people participate in local elections because, at least, in our estimation, those are the ones that really have the effect on your day-to-day. Yes, presidential elections are important, and when you're voting for governor and U.S. Senate and Congress, those are important too. But also when you're talking about municipal level issues and you're talking about the people who are charged with the policy of educating your children, that's just as important.
So again, too late to mail in your ballot. Polls close at 7 o'clock. We've got a list of all the drop centers as well as the in-person voting on our website, 9news.com. And Natasha, coming up at 6:30, we're going to look at the Denver School Board race and some of the participants that are up for election. So we'll have that coming up in about a half hour's time.
Sounds good, John. We'll see you soon. Thank you. Just in this morning, NBC News has results of its latest poll asking voters about their confidence in the election process. Specifically asked about the critical midterm elections now just 1 year away. Take a look here. The poll reveals that 66% do believe that their vote in the 2022 midterms will be counted accurately. 29% said that they do not believe their vote will be counted accurately. The percentage of those who don't believe their vote will count accurately has increased by 18 points since this time last year. For voting locations, a breakdown of your ballot, other Election Day questions, check out our 9 News app. It's free to download and keep it handy because you can use it to track results tonight and tomorrow morning.
An update on the man charged with punching a flight attendant. Brian Chu from Irvine, California, has been charged with interference with a flight crew and assault. This happened last week on a flight that had to divert here to Denver. There were no details released about what provoked that incident, but we've since learned the victim suffered a broken nose and a concussion. Aurora is mourning the loss of a 15-year-old boy hit and killed by a car in Aurora while he was out celebrating Halloween with his friends. The community held a vigil in Wyatt Lobato's memory on Monday night. Authorities say on Halloween, Wyatt tried to cross Chambers Road when a car hit him. One woman, April Rosales Wilkerson, happened to be out to get more candy and stopped to try to help.
Did not want him to go on the side of the street. I wanted him to make it to the point where he could be taken to the hospital and where he can, his family can see him.
April is halfway done with her classes to become a nurse. Wyatt's family says if it wasn't for her, he would have passed away on the sidewalk. April did meet the family who thanked her for her help. April says she wants to stay in contact with them. Aurora police are still investigating the crash.
It is 6:08 right now. A Catholic priest who worked in Colorado before moving to Rhode Island is facing charges for child pornography. Advocates in Colorado are worried that kids here may have been endangered. The NBC station in Providence reports that police arrested Father James Jackson on Saturday. Police say that he shared child porn. Church records show that he served at Our Lady of Mount Carmel in Littleton for several years. The Diocese of Providence said it has stripped Jackson of his duties. We are learning more about the El Paso County Sheriff's Office, what they are calling a murder-suicide. 4 people were found dead in a Colorado Springs home on Saturday, 2 adults and 2 children. Today, they were identified as Christoph, Yvette, Felicity, and Barrett Crabb. Deputies believe that Christoph killed his family and then took his own life. The investigation is ongoing.
New data for you this morning. Out of more than 4,000 police deputies, firefighters, and 911 operators in Denver, 425 submitted exemption requests, and the city granted almost 90% of the requests, mostly on religious claims. The city gave released exemption requests to us, but later asked us not to share it. We are sharing it because it shows how city workers can get an exemption and how lenient the city has been with approving them. In it, an employee said, quote, "Through prayer, my Christian conscience will not allow me to get the injection," and writes that the vaccines are, quote, produced using human cell lines derived from abortions. However, experts say that there is no fetal cells in those preparations, and the COVID-19 vaccines were actually developed using cell tissue derived from aborted fetuses in the 70s and 80s. They're descendants of original cells that have been replicated over and over in the same cell culture. And as for job loss, out of the city's 11,000 employees, 23 of them have been fired for failing to comply with the mandate or comply with testing if they got exempted. 15 Department of Safety employees decided to retire or resign. Exempted employees are required to wear masks and get tested every 5 calendar days. More than 1,200 people are now hospitalized with COVID in Colorado. The last time patient numbers were this high was December 22nd of last year. It's also 400 higher from the start of October. 81% of hospitalized COVID-19 patients are unvaccinated, so the vast majority of hospitalizations are the minority of our population. The state says 80% of Coloradans older than 18 have now received at least 1 dose of the COVID vaccine.
Colorado's new congressional map got approved. Colorado's new 8th congressional district will be one of the most competitive in America. Statewide, Democrats are likely to hold 4 seats, Republicans 3, with the new one being a toss-up. Now the state Supreme Court turns its attention to state legislature maps. Both drafts favor the Democrats currently in power. The court will rule on those within the next 2 weeks.
And one thing you want to know about the weather is kind of more of the same. Rain, snow showers, some freezing drizzle around, only in the 30s and 40s today. Gets better tomorrow, though. Maybe early morning showers, but late day sunshine and temperatures in the 50s to near 60 degrees.
And one thing to know right now on the roads, Denver police just tweeted out seconds ago all lanes are back open on northbound Santa Fe Drive and Ellsworth Avenue from an earlier crash that was under investigation.
More American airline flights delayed this morning. Do you know your rights as a travel customer?
And major changes for the Broncos. Von Miller is now a Los Angeles Ram. The latest on the decision and your reactions to the trade.
I always have Super Bowl 50. Seeing the pictures when I was walking out, it just made me tear up. But we always got Super Bowl 50. I always got Broncos country.
Well, Brandon McManus, the kicker, is now the only Bronco left on the team from Super Bowl 50. Denver traded Von Miller to Los Angeles on Monday. They're going to get a first and second round draft pick for the greatest pass rusher the team has ever seen. Miller's status over the last decade will likely get him into the Hall of Fame one day. He has 110 sacks. His best year was in 2012. He had 18.5 that year, but as recently as 2018, he had 14.5. Miller also intercepted 2 passes, one of them for a touchdown. Von also had 142 tackles for loss, 225 hits on quarterbacks going back to his rookie year, which was 2011. After Von left the Broncos facility for a final time yesterday, he went home, then spent nearly 10 minutes giving an unscripted message to the Broncos and their fans. He thanked more than 50 Broncos teammates, coaches, and staff members by name, shared many of his Broncos memories, both on and off the field.
I always have Super Bowl 50. Seeing the pictures when I was walking out, it just made me tear up. But we always got Super Bowl 50. I always got Broncos country.
Von Miller will wear number 40 with the Rams, just like he did in college at Texas A&M. Joe Ellis, John Elway, George Payton, and Vic Fangio all released statements thanking Miller for what he has done as a Bronco. Broncos country, to put it lightly, is pretty bummed out.
There hasn't been anybody who's really shown that they're going to be, what do they call it, face of the franchise. And they let their one face of the franchise go before they have somebody to follow.
For the team, I mean, I understand it, but, you know, it's not easy being a fan of the Broncos right now.
Yeah, that's for sure, right? We've gotten a lot of emotional comments on our Facebook page this morning. Many of the fans are upset. Others very happy for Von, saying it is a great move for his career.
I mean, he's a class act till the end.
That's for sure. Yep. You can join the conversation. Text us your thoughts on trade, 303-871-1491, and we will share your comments through the morning. He is a class act. I think everybody agrees with that, whether you played with him or whether you're on the Patriots or whatever, you know. He's just yeah.
I mean, remember that one time he sacked Tom Brady like 5 times? Okay, I digress.
Yes, I do remember.
Yes.
That may have been his greatest game. It was the NFC Championship game. He had, I think, 5.5 sacks in that game and an interception.
Pretty incredible.
And Brady was just on the ground the entire game.
Yeah.
It was great.
It's just crazy because you can tell by like what people are saying, the sentiment holds true, is that he was a class act and people really just kind of want the best for him. It's a bummer for the Broncos, but it's great for him, you know, and he's really such a great player and he is a class act.
It's mixed emotions, truly. And the last player, too, from Super Bowl 50. So
wow. That shows how fast things change in the NFL, right?
That wasn't too long ago.
Well, Von says he is planning to play Sunday night when the Rams meet the Titans.
It will be so weird seeing him in a different color, right?
Yep.
Different jersey, wow. American Airlines canceled another 250 flights Monday, pushing the total to 2,000 canceled since Friday. The airline says it's dealing with staffing shortages and weather issues. But what are your consumer rights if your flight is canceled or delayed? Every airline has different policies, but experts say you could be eligible for a refund. You'll need to know the airline policy. That way, if they offer you a voucher, you can decline. This also applies if you're already in transit and the second leg of your trip is canceled. Bottom line, pull out that magnifying glass and read the fine print.
And you know, there's a new Von Miller balloon in the Thanksgiving Day parade, by the way. Did you know that? Yeah, it's a float showing him drifting away from Colorado.
Wow.
And there you go. Hey, we have cloudy skies around here right now. 33 degrees, so it's again a cold morning around here. That moisture flow continues across Colorado. That's what we're seeing with snow on the high country. Got winter weather advisories out up there. And you can see some showers and thunderstorms, showers and snowstorms this afternoon just pushing across the state. But look at tomorrow, maybe some early morning showers, and then we see more in the way of sunshine by afternoon, and that's going to set the stage for a couple of nice fall days around here. Low pressure system with all that cold air, that is going to start to drift off to the east, and that's going to let a high pressure ridge begin to build into the area, and that's going to give us that nice fall weather, and that's going to continue not only through the weekend, but into the first part of next week. Highs today still on the cool side with 40s and 50s over the east. We're looking at 30s and 40s higher up, 50s, low 60s to the west, and then the lows tonight, mostly 20s and 30s east, teens, 20s high country, 30s to the west. Here's your Denver forecast. Today, mostly cloudy, scattered showers, 43 degrees. Then for tonight, mostly cloudy, rain or snow showers, and 33. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, early showers, late sunshine. Look at the high, 55, 63 on Thursday with sunny skies, 67 Friday. Here comes your weekend, upper 60s, lots of sunshine, near 70 on Monday, 66 with sunshine on Tuesday.
And thank you, 6 to 1T. Right now, want to talk about your drive as you get ready to head out through the DTC here. This is I-25 and Bellevue. Right now, north and southbound volume really still running up to speed, which is great to see at this hour. So no significant delays through the metro area just yet, but we do still have a couple of problems you'll want to watch out for. We have a reported rollover crash on the ramp from Union Avenue to eastbound 6th Avenue, so something to keep in mind. Watching delays on southbound I-25 in Berthoud because of a crash approaching Highway 56. That's the exit right where the Love's travel stop is, if you're familiar there. But we've got a left lane block through that area. Then we have road work, Highway 6 westbound, closed through Clear Creek Canyon between Highway 58 and Highway 40. That's going to reopen at 8 o'clock this morning. In the meantime, you'll want to go ahead and take westbound I-70 as your workaround traveling into the high country. East and westbound I-70 between I-25 and 225 still looking good out here. Your drive in either direction still under 10 minutes.
New this morning, Oxford English Dictionary has released its word of the year, and no surprise, it's linked to the pandemic.
6:24 now. Today, opening statements begin in the trial of Kyle Rittenhouse, who is accused of killing 2 people during protests in Kenosha, Wisconsin last year. It took just 1 day for jurors to be chosen. The jury is made of 11 women and 9 men, 1 person of color. Researchers have found that the racial composition of a jury can have an impact on the outcome. Last year, during unrest over the police shooting of Jacob Blake, Rittenhouse says he went to Kenosha's protest to, quote, protect businesses, during which time he's accused of shooting and killing 2 people and hurting a 3rd. If Rittenhouse is convicted of first-degree homicide, he could face life in prison.
Right now, world leaders are in Glasgow for another day of climate discussion. Today, President Biden promised some of the nation's strongest regulations against emissions from oil and gas drilling. New rules target methane leaks and instances when methane gas is purposefully vented during the production process. The president of China, the world's biggest carbon emitter, sent a written statement saying, quote, his country would rein in the irrational development of energy insensitive and high emission projects, end quote. And the Prime Minister of India set 2070 as the country's target to reach zero carbon emissions.
It is a word that we have used all too much lately, and it's become the word of the year. Oxford Language's word of the year this year is vax. According to Oxford, the word became 72 times more frequent by September of this year than it was same time last year. Experts say the word dates back at least to the 1980s, but was rarely used until this year. Vax, vaxed, vax. We hear it a lot.
And as far as the weather goes, we could see one of the later snowfalls, first snowfalls that we've seen in Denver in quite some time. The latest was the 21st of November in 1934. If we don't get anything today, it could get close to that. 33 degrees, what we're seeing right now. We do have some showers of rain and snow, just depending on where you are and what elevation you're at. And that all begins to die down. Tomorrow, maybe some early morning showers, then sunshine by afternoon. So today, 43 degrees, chance for rain or snow showers. Showers early, then sunshine later in the day. We get to 55 degrees. And look at Thursday, 63 with mostly sunny skies. Friday, we're at 67. We start the weekend Saturday, 68 degrees with sunny skies and more of the same on Sunday.
And thank you. And today is Election Day, and the decisions you make today could impact your child's education.
And giving context to climate change. Current conditions mean massive wildfires more likely to happen. The good news is there is new technology to keep up with the need.
How soon is too soon to talk Christmas music? Mariah Carey says the time is now. Of course she does, right? She has a special announcement.